Hello, and welcome to Stories from the View, a podcast from the Pleasant View Senior Center in East Longmeadow, Massachusetts. On this podcast, we invite East Longmeadow residents to tell us stories about their lives and events. We have podcast committee members Ed Fitzgerald, Jeff Teeden, and myself here today. And today's guest is Annie Wheeler. She is the General Manager of A.W. Browns. And now, your host, Mary Jenowyn Kaplan.
Thank you, Eric. Good morning,
Good
Annie.
morning.
Well, Annie, we are so excited to have you here today.
Thank you. I'm
Our
thrilled
town
to be here.
is not a large place, but A.W. Brown is a business of renown. It's been in our town for decades, and I'm excited to hear your story and the evolution, transition of A.W. Brown. So let's start with you. How did you get into this business?
Sure. I was pretty well born into it. My dad, Tom Wheeler, was the former owner, and so he had purchased the business in 1985, a little bit before I came onto the scene. But from the beginning, I was the kid in the backpack, in the back of the office. There's some, I'm sure, embarrassing stories about me running around and causing trouble in the office along the way. And as I got a little older, I started working, more and more formally. And
Like doing what? What were your first jobs?
oh goodness, well, I don't know.
Well, the very first, because it was so much. but-
Yes, well, I was gonna say I don't know how helpful I was, but I certainly enjoyed hanging out in the pet room quite a bit. I'm not sure that my desire to play with the animals was particularly helpful to the staff at that time. And then as I got a little bit older, I started counting inventory. That was always a favorite summer task, was counting candles was really what I remember very distinctly. And then after I graduated from college, I actually came back and I was doing some work on the more administrative side for a couple of years. I actually then moved to Washington, D.C. for a few years and was working with a nonprofit and then an educational technology company. And then during COVID, I decided to come back and support what was as we all know, pretty crazy time. And so I made a big move and came back home and I stepped into the general manager capacity at that time.
What a great background you have, though.
I'm all over the place. It's been a lot of fun, and I've learned so much through all of the many tasks of working at the store, and that's always been something that I've brought with me to any of my other jobs, is all of the things that I was so fortunate to learn very early on about running a business, about managing staff, about supporting customers and good customer service. I mean, that's really what the heart of what we do is.
Absolutely. So you've been back 3-4 years?
Yep. Yes. Yeah.
And general manager, and then things changed.
Yes.
How? Who woke up and said, we want to be an employee-owned enterprise?
At that, I have to give all of the credit to my dad for doing that, because he's been thinking for a long time about how does this incredible institution, and he is a huge chapter, but he didn't start it, and so how do you keep this legacy going in this such a special place in this community? And we were able to find an organization called Team Shares who helps us transition to employee ownership. And so what they do is help retiring business owners by buying the company, but then gifting stock back to the employees. And then over time, we as the employees and the employee owners buy back stock in the company. So we will continue to grow as employee owned. But what it does is it creates a far more sustainable model for independently owned businesses, because, we're not a huge conglomerate that can, ride every wave or figure out every problem, but without having it be dependent on one person, we can be far more sustainable within the community. And then it's exciting. It's exciting to see people really step up to the plate and see opportunity for themselves. So it's very exciting. It's the whole concept, I think, is fantastic.
It sounds like that cliche or adage about none of us is as smart as all of us. And
Yes.
you have taken that. And
Yes.
So how does it work?
So, I mean, I have to say, we were already a relatively small, tight-knit group.
How many people?
There's about 30 employees.
Oh, doesn't seem like a
yes.
lot to do all that you do.
It doesn't feel like that sometimes too, but it's a fantastic, really hardworking group who really care very deeply about the business, and so we all sort of continue to own our piece and make sure that our departments, our piece of the puzzle is running efficiently. We communicate a lot, and we have a lot of meetings, but we really keep the crew together, and everybody gets a voice, which I think is really exciting. So if somebody has an idea about a new product that they want to bring in that they're really passionate about, we have the opportunity now to be able to do that in a different way than maybe we would have in the past. So it's certainly different. It's a change, but it's a good one.
And folks are embracing this change.
Absolutely.
How long has it been now? Has it been a year?
A little over a year. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. So it's definitely, I mean, we've got a lot of exciting pathways ahead of us and a lot of exciting growth. We get to sort of now think, so much of the last couple of years for my dad was thinking about what his next is. He sort of got to the point, he doesn't like the word retire, but we won't use the R word for him. But
the next chapter
yes,
is our euphemism here.
Yes. As he was trying to figure out what his next step was, it was becoming very challenging because we're a fairly large business, but we're not huge. We're not tiny. So it makes us a little, we're in a kind of our own category. And so he's really, tried to focus the last couple of years on what that next step for the business was. And so now that we've established what that step is, we have this more sustainable long-term model. It's not dependent on one person. Now we can shift our focus a little bit more and really think about, well, where do we want to expand? Where do we want to see, what does A.W. Brown's look like in the next 3, 5, 10, 20 years? And we don't have all of those answers, but
the crystal ball is broken.
I wish.
Oh, maybe it's on order.
Yes, we'll say that. It got stuck along the way somewhere. But thinking about where do we want to change? Do we want to change the physical layout at all? And we're doing some shifts, so everybody might see some changes in the next couple of months as we head into the spring of sort of the layout of the store. We're thinking about more ways that we can be more engaging and find ways. I mean, certainly the kids, and adults too, love coming in and looking at the animals, and that's a huge piece for us. So what are some other ways that we can find fun activities that, when a parent drives by, the dog or the kid is saying, "Oh my gosh, I want to go to Brown's. I want to go stop." So thinking some creative ways. So we're excited that we have some cool stuff coming down the pike.
Are there some small changes that have happened in the last year you're willing to share with us, or maybe that we saw?
Yeah, there's certainly, we're starting to make some adjustments in the pet room. We're moving some things around. We're doing a little bit of construction. We're revamping. We really want to get ourselves. We used to do a lot more events, and then during the pandemic, we had to kind of reel those back in. So now, as we're getting back into the events, we're actually shifting what we affectionately call the birthday party room, because many, many moons ago, we used to have many birthday parties, myself included. I had many birthday parties at the store. So we're shifting that a little bit to be more of an event space, to be more something that we can engage with doing, whether seminars or classes. We were talking about doing terrarium classes or a dog food, nutrition, education opportunity. We're going to probably do a soil testing event later this spring to help folks sort of get a better handle on what is happening in their lawn or garden. So in addition to some of our signature events like our Halloween costume contest, our Blessing of the Animals, we're going to have some of that space to be able to have some of those smaller scale events as well. And then we added a really big, beautiful mural, which our incredible new marketing teammate Chris put together. So I would encourage everyone, when they come into the store next, it's up on the wall on the right, and it really honors our history and where we're going, and it's a really cool piece. So that was a really, really exciting little update that we made as well. So little things along the way.
I attended maybe I'll get the name of the event wrong, open house, grand opening, transition from employee owned,
Yep.
from private owned to employee owned. And it felt a little bit like a family reunion because you could see people moving from sort of booth to booth, and people were being greeted by names and
Yeah.
asking about pets and talking about whatever. It's a real heartwarming town or community sort of thing, because I bet you get people from our neighboring communities also.
Oh, yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that was a great event. Yes, I think we ultimately called it our fall open house, but that was very much an umbrella title. It was fall open house, celebration of employee ownership, also an opportunity to honor my dad and his partner Kate, who were retiring. So to sort of give them a little bit of a celebration, send off to for them to honor all of the hard work that they've both put into the store over many, many years.
So do you see their faces in the store, or have they moved?
They're still in town. They still pop in from time to time, and certainly I go to my dad for additional support and feedback, and but they're also getting to have some hobbies, and what a concept after
And such
working so
talented
hard.
people, they
Yes,
probably
yes.
have some wicked cool ones, and that'll be
Yes.
good.
So giving them some opportunity to sort of, I think they've been skiing a little bit. They've been traveling, so they've definitely been able to have some exciting things to do, but they're not going anywhere.
Excellent. That's great.
Yeah.
I was impressed when I looked at your website at the number of departments. And it almost looked, and what do I know, but it almost looked as if they evolved organically. Because if we were starting up a new business and didn't really know, there'd be the dogs, the cats, the guinea pigs, the birds, whatever. But there was the pet checklist how does this all work?
Yes, I mean, absolutely. And perhaps pun intended that it grew organically for our garden center. But
They would like that.
Yes. It really has been going back a little bit. So A.W. Brown's started actually as a Purina checkerboard store. And so it was a corporately owned Purina business. Ultimately, and we believe that was started around 1945. And then Al Brown, A.W. Brown, he bought it in 1970 from when Purina was sort of transitioning away from some of their more retail corporate businesses. And that's when it truly became A.W. Brown's. But if you think about that, that was really grain. It was really, it was over at 55 Maple, which is now where the Dunkin' Donuts is, right across the street from Community Feed. So we were both on the train tracks. So that's because that's how the feed came in. It came in on the trains. And so it really started as feed and grain, with some other things sort of mixed in. And over time, Al brought in a little bit more lawn and garden and sort of started to add as the needs of the community grew. And that really is
He was a good business guy.
Absolutely.
He could read the tea leaves of what
Yes.
people needed
Yeah.
and listen to his customers.
For sure. And I think, really trying to figure out what can we add that folks will look for and they'll need at their homes. They'll need, for their gardens, for their lawns. But at that point, it was also, there was dog chow, there was cat chow, rabbit food. There was not brands. There was not, there was Blue Seal and there was Purina, but it really wasn't, the expanse that we see today. So when then my dad got connected because he was actually a Purina sales rep. So he was calling on Al. And actually the other fun connection that I'm sure she'll hate me for bringing up, but Vera, who you were mentioning earlier.
Oh, your employee Vera,
Yes.
our best expert on dog food.
She is. She's also Al's daughter. So there is she still works with us. So she and I are the daughters. We certainly commiserate over
legacy.
that. Yes. So she was working there at the same time. And so my dad was the one who was calling on the Purina business. And then ultimately when Al decided that it was time for him to step away and he wanted to move on, he talked to my dad, and they it was sort of he saw my dad as a young up-and-comer and, thought that he would be a good businessman as well. And so my dad bought the business from Al in 85. And then in about 10 years, we went from our 5,000 square foot location on about a fourth of an acre over on Maple, and he was outgrowing it. And he decided, because he continued to, something that my dad is fantastic at, is really knowing the customer and really understanding what the needs of the customer is. And so he would add things, incorporate more. We incorporated, and I was trying to figure out exactly what year, and I couldn't track down the right year, but Wet Pets was its own business on Shaker Road where Subway is now. It was an aquarium store. And so he actually also acquired Wet Pets and then brought the two together. And that was the origin of us having fish, was incorporating Wet Pets into the business as well. So he really was always looking for ways to serve the customer better. And so then in 95, we moved to our location on Shaker Road. And I found something in some of the history that I was looking through leading up to our fall open house, the quote in an early article from my dad saying that, "I don't know what we're going to do with all of this space on Shaker Road." And now I'm sitting here and I'm like, we're busting at the seams. We can't, we don't have enough space for everything.
You can add a second floor.
Oh my goodness, we really could.
I don't want to start rumors, though.
It's funny, though, to think about how much we've grown now in these years that we've been at Shaker Road. So, going back to your question about growing organically, again, we've just responded to the industries. We've seen opportunities as they've come. And actually, I think we were really fortunate as the dog food and cat food industry shifted so much from going from dog chow, cat chow, just kibble, to having 4 aisles full of every different flavor and every different version. And I think it speaks to how people have changed perhaps their opinion about their pet being really a member of their family rather than just the pet. And they're really committed to making sure that the food that their pets get is really high quality, is the right food for them. So we've been really fortunate to sort of ride that wave as well, and grow with that. And the same thing with gardens and lawns, and people really care about what's going into their homes and what's going on to their lawns. And so we've really grown in those ways. And then certainly a huge testament to Kate, when she came on and took on the lawn and garden in the nursery. She really pushed this, made an incredible space, and she's so knowledgeable about all different types of plants and how to take care of them, how to take care of your lawn, and she's honest with people about what's going to work, what is not going to work. So again, it really has responded to what people have been looking for, and we've been able to, because of our size, be pretty flexible. And that's been a huge asset for us, is that we could respond pretty quickly to somebody saying, "Hey, I would love to see this product, or I would love to see more organic solutions." Okay, well, next week we'll have them in for you, and we'll try it. And then we sort of grow from there. So that very close connection to our customers has been really our secret to success, I think.
Well, also in the last 15 years, just societally speaking, people are investing more in their out-of-work time, or quality of life stuff.
Yes.
And some folks just love to dig in the dirt and produce these beautiful blossoms and blooms. And you are a place that can partner with them.
Yes.
To get it done and make it happen. And that's just a wonderful thing.
Absolutely. And we will help at any step of the way. If you're just getting started and you have no idea what the difference between an annual and a perennial is, we'll help you figure it out. Or if you are a seasoned gardener and know exactly what you want and where to put it, then we will help you load it into your car and get you all squared away, and not a problem. And we want to hear from our customers too, and what they're seeing, what they like, what's working, what's not working. So it's really been being able to see people really care so much about to your point, what they're putting, or what they're doing with their extra time. My dad often says that, we're in the entertainment business in a way, because everything that we sell is so much about your personal life, your how you spend, outside of work time, with your pets, with your family, with your garden, watching the birds, whatever, grilling, whatever it might be. It's really your personal
The grilling.
life. The grilling.
That's how big a part of your business is that? Is that new?
It's not.
I know I've
yeah.
seen the grills.
Yep. Yeah. They've moved around. They're, I think they've been in lawn and garden. They had their own room. They've been up front. It's certainly, not an insignificant piece. We stand behind a fantastic brand. We only carry Weber grills, and that's because we truly know that they are a high quality, really, really great grill. The downside to that is that people are not often looking for then a new grill because they last a long time.
Oh, darn.
Yes. Shoot, I sold you a really high quality, long lasting product.
And you'll come back and buy a geranium. Yay.
Yes, no, and it's great. And it's something that I love working with folks to find the grill that they want. And I create these really deep connections. And so I still have customers that I sold a grill to 2, 3, 4 years ago. And we still talk about it, whenever they're in. Oh, I just was out, and yes, it's snowing, but I'm out there grilling. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, not in my house. We're kind of wimps.
That's all right. It doesn't have to be everyone.
Well, and you mentioned workshops and presentations, so maybe you'll have grilling stuff.
Yes, we have our director of finance, who is also a fabulous gardener herself. She also teaches cooking classes in her off time. So she's quite talented and very busy, but we're talking about, let's see if we can incorporate maybe a cooking class and in as well. So we have to figure out logistically how to make that work, but that'd be fantastic.
Different setup.
Yes.
There's a lot of talk these days in the business sector about employee satisfaction and employee growth and keeping employees happy. And it sounds like the opportunity for people who are pretty good experts in their field to share their knowledge in a different way would be self-fulfilling and would be kind of a hoot for them to do a workshop on X.
Absolutely.
And have the customers they see in the aisles ask questions, learn more, and applaud.
Yeah.
Because that's what keeps us vibrant and alive, is learning stuff. And
Absolutely.
And we can all grow in different ways.
Yes, we certainly can. And I think that's been part of this, the employee ownership that I think is really exciting, is that we have leaned into a lot of growth opportunities. So we've been working with everybody to sort of better understand, okay, yes, you might work in the pet department, but oh, you also have this fantastic garden knowledge, or oh, you might be, cashier at the front end, but you're an expert in pet nutrition. Let's capitalize on that. So we've really certainly our social media, I think, reflects that
That
more
has
and more.
changed.
Yes.
Yeah.
Again, fortunately, because I am not the one having to do it anymore, because I was not the most organized in my social media management. So Chris has been fantastic in jumping in and helping us and showcasing the wonderful knowledge of so many of our staff members by doing videos or little educational bits. And it's really been able to, I think, show not only the other staff, but also customers that we have a fantastic group of staff with great knowledge, and they will answer your questions and help you.
Age-wise, I see a wide spread.
We do.
And I'm always excited to see motivated, helpfully younger people. Of course, everyone seems younger to me now, but that really, you mentioned carrying stuff to the car.
Yeah.
and offering our dog a treat. All of those
Always.
things that make us special, and working out the rewards so we get, I don't know, money off or points or
Yes.
whatever.
Yeah.
But it's customer service seems to have permeated the building.
Yes, and that's something that has always been very close to my dad's heart, and his mantra has always been customer comes first, and I certainly grew up in that, and that's so much of has colored who I am, and it's something that I really believe in also, and as we've hired staff as particularly in the last couple of years, not to say that we haven't done this for many years, but it's something that as I've been hiring folks, it's a must. It's something that we talk about from day one. And it's fun because you're excited when we're able to greet you or your dog, by name. Yeah. It's exciting for us too. It's a community. It's how many other places, maybe the coffee shop, but how many other places do you get greeted by name, because you're a regular customer somewhere. And, certainly the cashiers, the warehouse team, they are excited that they recognize people. And, if we don't see somebody for a little while, we sort of say, I wonder where that person is. We should maybe check in on them and just make sure. And it's out of care. It's not because, oh gosh, we're missing a sale. It's because we really care about the people in our community and we want to make sure that they're okay. And it's really special. It's a really special group.
I think we all have the experience of going into a retail establishment and having the scavenger hunt for a staff person to help you.
Yes.
And so it is different to go into Brown's and have staff people run after us to pat our dog.
Yes.
So that is nice. That is really, really nice.
Yes.
Also, greeting cards. You have greeting cards.
Yes, we do. We I think that came about sort of that in our gift section. When we brought in Yankee Candles, I think in the early 2000s, we got into the gift world more. And we were, and apologies for the pun incoming here too, but we were the largest candle center, south of Deerfield for a long time until they started opening some of their corporate stores. But we had the biggest selection of Yankee Candles for a long time. We brought in the Kringle candles. We've brought in, we've gone through many iterations of having, some of the Jim Shore figurines and the Willow Tree figurines. And we have gazing globes and flags. And, again, we sort of respond to what folks are asking for. But it really means that we can be a one-stop shop, especially around the holidays when, you need to come in, you need to get your gifts for your pets, you need to get gifts for the gardener in your life. You can pick up a candle for, somebody who doesn't maybe have the garden or pets, but we have something else for them too. So it's really become, and we have people now who just come in and do their gift shopping, which is, as a pet and garden store, it's sort of a crazy concept, but
I don't think your marketing people could have predicted that one.
No, I don't think so. There is a fine line there between being, sort of proactive and reactive, and you have to have that balance. So it's certainly, we're grateful for it. No complaints here.
Oh, heavens. What have we missed? What haven't we talked about?
Oh, my goodness.
From the A.W. Browns of today?
I think, we've hit on a lot of the big topics. I think the key is that the headline is we continue to be ourselves. We continue to be A.W. Browns, and we will continue to be A.W. Browns. There's no fear that, we're going to get gobbled up by a big box store. And it's because our owners are now in the community. Not that they weren't. Certainly my dad was also in the community, but
there's so many more of you.
So many more of us, yes.
And some of them are young. And what a great start.
Yes.
For your working career.
I have a lot of favorite parts of my job, but I have to say one of my favorites is getting to help some of our younger staff grow and develop and see potential. Certainly for better or worse, retail is not always the most glamorous career in the world, but to find ways to connect with some of our younger staff and encourage them to see the potential and see how there is a career here for them. There is opportunity here for them, and let's let you learn about this topic. Let's train you up on how to do some of the buying. I'll explain some of the financial side of things to you so that you can learn. And we're so fortunate. We have an incredible group of staff that I can't imagine a better group to have done this transition with, who they've jumped right in and head first into this transition. So really positive.
Boy, 10 years ago, you were in a very different place.
I was.
Who would have thought? Life is full of surprises
That
sometimes.
is so true. It really is, and I'm thrilled. I'm thrilled to be part of not only A.W. Brown's, but also part of the East Longmeadow community. It's where I grew up, and it's a place that obviously is very special to me. And so I feel so connected, and that's something that is really important to me.
Mm-hmm. So, the future.
Uh-oh.
Can you give us just something that might be happening? And it can be a festival or whatever.
Yeah.
We don't put you on the spot, but we want to know.
I am optimistic, and I think we're going to be able to pull it off for this spring, to have some of our own kind of garden beds out front. So sort of make our own, we're going to probably use raised beds sort of out, right in front of the store there, and be able to fill those with native species, but we can use it not only to showcase some of the products that we carry, but also we can do some really hands-on demos and say, oh gosh, let's talk about deadheading and let's go over there and I'll show you how to do it. But also another really cool, engaging place for kids, to come and sort of walk through. My vision is with trellises and, big, beautiful plants and maybe some art, worked into it. So I'm really excited, and I think it's going to be a really cool piece that'll just sort of add to what we have to offer. So fingers crossed, I can pull it off for this spring. Spring is coming.
Inspirational show and tell.
Yes,
I love
exactly.
it. It'll be so great for folks to think,
what could I do?
how could I do that?
Yes.
What would work in my place?
Exactly. As long as nobody looks at my yard, then we're,
You're busy.
We can focus it on.
Maybe your dad will go over.
That's true. Yeah, he can help me out. No.
Sounds like he's having a ball, so
He
that's
is.
just fine.
Yes. Yes.
Annie, tell us any closing words. Have we missed anything? How, what's...
I think we've covered the
covered it
gamut.
all.
Yeah, I think, it just, I have to say a huge thank you to this community, because we would not be here. We would not be as successful as we are if the community hadn't stood behind us and supported us through all of these years. We recognize that everybody has choices where they're going to shop, especially with all of the opportunity online at this point. And so,
we didn't even think about that.
Yes, yeah.
Oh.
So people I recognize that sometimes it is easier to just hop online and order something and it's at your door. So the fact that people continue to choose to come in and shop with us and say hi and bring their dogs in, I mean, that just, it speaks to the values of this community. And that is so special to me. And just, I cannot thank all of our customers enough for supporting us through the years.
That is so true. The FedEx guy has never patted my dog. Okay, I got it. Thank you so much for coming.
You're welcome. This has been so great. I'm so glad to join you.
All right, Annie. Well, thank you so much for being here. That wraps up another episode of Stories from the View from the Pleasant View Senior Center. We'd like to thank Annie Wheeler from A.W. Brown's for being our guest today. The Stories of the View podcast, it's available on the LCAT 01028 channel on YouTube, and we're also on Spotify. If you have a story you'd like to share on the program, contact Pleasant View Senior Center Director Erin Kobler by stopping by the Pleasant View Senior Center, or you can call Erin, 413-525-5436, extension 1401, or you can send Erin an email, erin.kobler@eastlongmeadowma.gov. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time on Stories from the View.